During Fender Ketchup in San Andreas, we see that Woozie is pretty angry because the mob is constantly attacking his casino. When his Triad men tell him they caught one of the attackers smashing machines, he immediately orders,
"Boss, the boys found some thugs trying to smash one of the deliveries. We caught one of them."
Get rid of him. Hey, wait, hold up, come here.
Now let's break down why he said that. First, let's ask why would it have been more beneficial to keep the captured mobster alive. There are three major reasons. First, to extract information. Woozie could have learned who was behind the attack. Second, to demand the ransom. If the captured man was a made guy, this could have brought in leverage. And third, to avoid war. Killing a made man would likely result in a full-scale war between the Triads and the mafia families, who were technically allied in Las Venturas and had more power. So why did Woozie still order the mobster's death? Let's break down each of these points. Woozie already knew Las Venturas was a mafia-run town. It was obvious the mob was involved, so the only real info he might have gained would have been which family it was. But considering the code of silence or omerta, especially with made guys, even an associate wouldn't likely talk. It would have been a waste of time. Asking for a ransom might have seemed like a street-level tactic, more fitting for common thugs than an organized Triad boss. Plus, do you really think the mafia families would pay a ransom to the Triads? Highly unlikely. It would make them look weak and they'd never risk that. So why wasn't Woozie afraid of killing a made man? Well, in the cutscene we clearly see Woozie is furious. These constant attacks push him to the edge, and now that they're finally caught one of the attackers, he wanted to send a message. It was a decision made on impulse but with purpose. You mess with us, you pay the price. And even if the guy was made, the Triads didn't care. In GTA 3 they ambushed Johnny Sindacco, a couple in the Leon family, and they even went after Salvatore himself. The omerta meant nothing to the Triads. They weren't Italian and they never stood to gain from alliances with the Italian-American mafia. In their eyes, a made man was just another enemy. This moment tells us a lot about Woozie as a leader. It shows he's cold-hearted when necessary and not afraid to draw blood to protect his empire. If he showed any weakness, his own men could start questioning him, and in Triad culture, strength equals respect. Ordering the mobster's execution wasn't just a warning to the mafia, it was a statement to his own crew. And the mobster they caught, it turned out to be Johnny Sindacco, the underboss of the Sindacco family. Neither Woozie or CJ knew his identity at the time, which is why CJ insisted on keeping him alive, to extract information. That decision ended up being crucial, but it raises an interesting what if. What if they have gone through with killing him right then and there? Killing an underboss of a major mafia family could have had massive consequences. It might have triggered an all-out war between the Triads and the Sindaccos. But here's where things get even more interesting. Such a war would likely weaken the Sindaccos significantly, and the other two Las Venturas families, the Leones and the Forellis, would almost certainly taken advantage of that. They already had tensions boiling beneath the surface, and Johnny's death would have been the perfect excuse to either take territory, settle scores, or destabilize the Sindaccos for good. So in that way, the Sindaccos were walking a tightrope, their underboss out doing dirty work, risking capture or death in a city filled with enemies just waiting for a sign of weakness, and that right there explains why they were always the most fragile and desperate out of the three families. So in the end, Woozie's cold decision wasn't just about revenge, it was about sending a message. The Triads were tired of being pushed around, and even if they didn't know who they had in their hands, they were ready to fight back. Luckily for the Sindacco, CJ stepped in and decided to dig diaper before taking action. But that moment showed just how fragile the balance of power in Las Venturas really was. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into GTA's criminal world, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your own theories or questions in the comments. I read them all, and who knows, your idea might be the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.